Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the September 25th, 2025 regular meeting of the San Diego County Community Power Board of Directors. I'm Tara Lawson-Remer, Chair of the board representing the County of San Diego. We welcome members of the public, community power staff, and board members joining us today at the Port of San Diego Administration Building. I now call the meeting to order. Marie, please call the roll.
Director Elo Rivera, Director Fisher,
Present.
Director Insunza,
I'm here.
Director San Antonio,
Present.
Director Suzuki,
Here.
Vice Chair Yamani,
Here.
Chair Lawson-Remer.
Here.
We have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Let us stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We begin by acknowledging that this meeting is taking place on the land of the original inhabitants of the greater San Diego region. A land acknowledgement is a step towards working with Native communities to create meaningful partnerships and inclusion in the stewardship and protection of their cultural resources and homelands. Let us take a moment to honor these ancestral grounds that were the traditional lands of the Kumeyaay. Okay, thank you. We begin with special presentations and introductions. We're pleased to welcome Director Jack Fisher as the official representative from the city of Imperial Beach. And I would also like to welcome Angad Kapoor, yes, Administrative Procurement and Analyst, to introduce himself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Angad Kapoor, and I'm a procurement analyst on the Modern Energy procurement team. Previously, I've worked at companies such as EXL and University of California. I've been at Community Power since almost over a month now, and it's been great meeting and learning from all the wonderful people that work here. And it's an honor to be here amongst you all today. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any items to be added, withdrawn, or reordered on the agenda?
None, Madam Chair.
Okay, then we now begin with non-agenda public comments. I'd like to note that written public comments submitted before the board meeting were emailed to all directors prior to the meeting and will be posted online. Marie, do you have any non-agenda public comments?
We do, Madam Chair. We have Lane Charman. You'll have 10 minutes to address the board, Mr. Charman.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and an honor. I want to thank each and every one of you for your service to San Diego and our CCA movement, which Bill Powers and I were, I think, responsible for getting off the ground in 2010. And it's really a pleasure to be here. At this time, as we all know, we are in a crisis. We're in a climate crisis. We're in a federal political crisis. And we have now in front of us a bill which is destined to make it more expensive to produce clean energy. There is, though, unfortunately, a misunderstanding about that bill. And I want to clarify that for the board and for the staff and for the audience as well. It says that on July 4th of next year, projects must start construction. That eliminates the general gist of the safe harbor, which was that 5% of a project in any form could start. That Treasury ruling does not apply to distributed energy projects that are 1.5 megawatts or less. So we actually have in San Diego a very fine opportunity to start distributed energy projects that are 1.5 megawatts or less, have them qualify during this period by expending 5% of their budget, and then having a 4-year runway and still qualify for the investment tax credit, domestic content, prevailing wage. So this is a really important fact that is not well known, and I just wanted to take a minute to bring this to the attention of the board and the staff and the public, because we have an opportunity to do a lot of good in the San Diego region with distributed energy resources. I took the time to make this clear to the board at the Clean Energy Alliance today. I just want to also, as the chair of the Solana Beach Climate and Action Commission, to make myself available to staff to help them with any program that will stimulate DER development during the next 6 months up until July. So very important for people who've invested in climate action plans, like many of you have, that we get and kick off as many DERs in San Diego as possible between now and July of next year. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any additional non-agenda public?
There are none, Madam Chair.
No? Okay. Then we now move on to the consent calendar, items 1 through 13. Do any directors wish to pull any items from the consent calendar? Marie, do we have any public comment on the consent calendar?
There are none, Madam Chair.
Okay. Are there any board member comments, questions, or a motion on the consent agenda items numbers 1 through 13?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Marie, please do call the roll.
Director Elo Rivera, Director Fisher,
Aye.
Director Insunza,
Yes.
Director San Antonio, Director Suzuki,
Aye.
Vice Chair Yamani,
Aye.
Chair Lassen Reamer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. We now move to item 14, Community Advisory Committee regularly quarterly update. We welcome CIC Chair David Harris.
Good evening, Chair Lawson Reamer and Community Power Board of Directors. My name is David Harris, and it is a pleasure to introduce myself for the first time to this board as Chair of the Community Advisory Committee and a representative from the City of La Mesa. At the direction of the board, the CAC provides monthly updates on the board agenda packets, typically as part of the consent agenda, and quarterly reports during regular meetings. At the May meeting of the board, former Chair Matthew Vasilakis presented a summary of CAC activities from February through April. This report summarizes then the months May through August 2025. So over the past few months, the CAC has continued to assist community power staff and the board in the development and implementation of key initiatives during regular meetings and briefings. Like the board, the CAC did take off the month of July. The month prior, the CAC held officer elections. Our new slate of officers are myself, Chair from the City of La Mesa, Vice Chair Luis Montero Adams from the City of San Diego, and Secretary Ross Pike from the unincorporated communities of the County of San Diego. Since being elected, CAC officers have received an onboarding training from staff in which we had the opportunity to provide feedback on meetings and begin discussing strategies for member activation and fulfilling our CAC work plan goals. My intent as chair is to incentivize a more hands-on approach from CAC members to increase opportunities to learn about renewable energy policies, programs, and regulations. CAC officers are meeting on a monthly basis now to draft an agenda ahead of each regular meeting, and we held one today. During the reporting period, the CAC has received presentations on a variety of topics that I'll just outline briefly. First, the vehicle grid integration, where members encouraged creating partnerships that foster workforce training on emerging technologies. Our members also received an update on the Solar Advantage program, where our members discussed collaboration with member agencies to augment project benefits. Members congratulated staff for repurposing a community hub previously used for a public good during the pandemic. Questions were also asked about the enrollment priority system, encouraging San Diego Community Power to take a more collaborative approach with developers that will create more community projects that directly benefit the neighboring communities. Now, moving on to the regulatory efforts, the CAC received a joint presentation on tariffs, tax credits, and executive orders, new build market outlook. And this was quite an extensive presentation where the members relayed concerns about the uncertainty regarding federal tax credits and tariffs and encouraged staff to advocate for alternate ways to incentivize developers, such as expediting permitting processes. During the Regulatory and Legislative Affairs quarterly update, members also encouraged staff to return with additional information about how federal actions are making an impact on state and local policies and programs. Finally, the CAC received an update on the San Diego Regional Energy Academy, which has been quite successful. Members lauded it as a critical, valuable initiative that is supported by community power and has made a significant impact on raising the energy knowledge of stakeholders in the region. And in fact, one of our newer members, Ross Pike, attended the Energy Academy last year. I wanted to discuss with you vacancies. First, I want to thank you for your ongoing recruitment and appointment efforts, which will be key in filling existing and upcoming vacancies. Since our last report, former CAC representative for the city of Encinitas, Gary Johns, has termed out. I'd like to thank the board for the formal proclamation that recognized his efforts and was presented to him this past June by the board. Since the very beginning, Gary was very insightful and provided the vision for our advisory committee. Earlier this month, also, we lost Ilian Sandoval. She, for personal reasons, resigned. She was the representative from the city of Imperial Beach. So we currently have two vacancies, one for Encinitas and another for Imperial Beach. In addition, just 9 months from now, there will be more vacancies because some of us are terming out, including myself. So we will have vacancies, one in the city of San Diego, La Mesa, Encinitas, and National City. So I'm looking forward to working with our board of directors to identify community leaders interested in stepping into these important roles. So looking ahead, the CAC will host its next regularly scheduled meeting on Thursday, October 8th. Your packet includes the CAC monthly report for our August meeting, and I'll come back with a full report in another 3 months. Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Any questions or comments from my colleagues?
I just want to thank you, David, for your service and stepping up, and congratulations on becoming chair.
Thank you. Well, it's really exciting. I was with the organization since its founding. I advocated for community choice in La Mesa. And, you know, it's really been amazing and gratifying to see this organization grow over the last 5 years from, gosh, a dozen employees with a loan of $35 million, a startup trying to break into this business in a big way. And now here we are with over 950,000 customers and $1 billion energy and administrative budget. So I'm really proud of the work we've done as a CAC and the leadership that the board has shown over these past 5 years. Thank you.
Well, thank you, David.
I'm actually a council member in Encinitas, so maybe we can exchange info later on. And I'd love to kind of pick your brain on how it can help recruit for that open spot.
Glad to.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other comments? Okay, fantastic. We now move to item 15, adopt resolution 2025-16, approving revisions to the non-energy procurement policy. Christopher Stevens, procurement manager, and Crystal Carranza, procurement analyst, will present.
Hello and good evening, Chair Lawson Reamer and Vice Chair Yamani, and to the rest of the Board of Directors. My name is Christopher Stevens. I am the procurement manager at San Diego Community Power. I am joined today by Crystal Carranza, Community Power's procurement analyst, and we are pleased to introduce the next staff report item, number 15, which is the adoption of resolution number 2025-16, approving revisions to the non-energy procurement policy. Before we dive in, Community Power has two procurement policies. We have the Energy Risk Management Policy, which governs the procurement of energy resources. And we have the one which we will be talking about today, which is the policy that governs our non-energy procurement for the agency. The last time the non-energy procurement policy was updated and brought before the board was 2022, so it's been a while. Since that update, the agency has matured drastically. So at the same time, the thresholds for RFPs and RFQs for competitive procurement has remained roughly at $125,000 and has been that way since the policy was originally adopted in 2020. I mentioned that $125,000 threshold because inflation has occurred year over year, and Community Power has never adjusted that threshold to reflect inflation. And so Community Power is bringing the non-energy procurement policy before the board today with the proposed increase to the threshold and a few other key updates. So what are we updating in the policy? As previously mentioned, we are updating the increase to the threshold for competitive solicitations from $125,000 to $150,000. That's a proposed increase of $25,000. This also includes increasing the delegated contract authority of Community Power's CEO from $125,000 to $150,000. The policy is also we would like to clarify a lot of information in the current policy, such as Community Power is requesting written quotes and bids for contracts greater than $10,000 and up. Previously, it was for verbal quotes up to approximately $50,000. And now written requests for quotes are required for contracts over $10,000 and up to $125,000. $150,000, thank you. Community Power is also recommending there be non-competitive procurement for legal services and recommends to the board that cooperative procurement and piggyback procurement be added to the policy, which is in line with other public agencies as authorized procurement methods. And in summary, the policy is being updated to reflect a more mature agency. Additionally, we would like to make sure that we are diligent in revising our policies regularly and bringing them to the board for review. Is there anything else to miss for this? With that, Chair Lawson-Remer, I'd like to offer you and the other members of the board an opportunity to ask any questions and provide any feedback that you may have for this item. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. For my colleagues, any questions on this item? Go ahead.
I have just a couple of quick questions. In the item on 11F, it says Community Power shall not be required to award a contract to purchase goods or services from the lowest responsible bidder unless required by California law. Which instances? Obviously, I know there's some specialized people out there, but why would that be? Does that happen often? I mean, I guess I look at it as, the funds, come from the users. It's a lot of money out there that's coming in on revenues, but I'm just curious in what instances may require not using the lowest qualified bidder.
Thank you for your question. I appreciate it. I think it often involves what presents the best value to Community Power. In many cases, something can be cost effective, but not provide the actual scope of work that we might be looking for in our solicitations. And therefore, in those cases, we might not select the lowest cost for the bid that we receive, but we would select the one that presents the best value to us.
I guess that leaves me still a little bit more confused. So when you offer the solicitation, it spells out what's required, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So if you got people who are qualified to do the work and they were lowest, it makes sense that you'd want to use them in most cases. Am I correct?
In most cases, when a proposer is the lowest bidder and presents the best value to STCP, they are selected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Maybe I have maybe a point of clarification. I think, for instance, like with an attorney, there are attorneys who may practice general practice. They may do divorce, among other kinds of things, right? But they don't necessarily have the specialization. And so we would want to pay somebody who has that, not divorce for us, but, someone who has a specialist. That's what I'm guessing, because, you know, like you might have a door practice. They call it a door practice. Anything that comes in the door, you're gonna hire them. But what we want is someone who's specialized and who has that kind of, and they're gonna be at a higher hourly rate. So I would think that this would then allow, the policy would then allow us to be able to hire an attorney who has what we need. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
But I would also, think that when the solicitation goes out, it's very clear and spelled out of what's asking. If you're looking for a divorce lawyer, you don't go looking for somebody who's working in auto liability. So that's just my thought is, in the solicitation should spell out. And I understand there are some very specific needs for the agency. It just, it just was a question I had.
I'd like to make an addition, just a clarification. The solicitations would actually spell that out. So just exactly as you're explaining, the cost is one component, but it wouldn't be the only component. So that addition to the policy is just to clarify that that wouldn't be the sole reason. Someone like the Port of San Diego, an agency like the Port of San Diego often does contracts for construction. And in those cases, sometimes that is low bid. And so this just explains that it wouldn't specifically require us to award for low bid. It would be an analysis of all of the criteria that is identified in the RFP or the RFQ. And that generally is going to be spelled out.
Sorry, I won't keep going on. But in the selection process, when you talk about criteria, so you look at them, is there a form that's filled out and goes with each project or solicitation that kind of documents that?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you for your work on this. Do we have a motion, or actually, Marie, do we have public-
Madam Chair, we have no public comment.
Do we have a motion on this item?
I'll move to adopt it.
Thank you very much. Any second? Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Director Elo Rivera.
Yeah.
Director Fisher.
Aye.
Director Insunza.
Yes.
Director San Antonio. Director Suzuki.
Aye.
Vice Chair Yamani.
Aye.
Chair Lassen Bremer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. We now move to item 16, adopt resolution number 2025-17, approving revisions to the delegated contract authority policy and rescinding resolution number 2022-10. Christopher Stevens, procurement manager, and Crystal Carranza, procurement analyst, will present this item.
Thank you, Chair Lawson Remer.
Thank you.
We are here again to introduce item number 16. Just Community Power is doing an internal review to update many policies, and the Delegated Contract Authority policy update falls into the category of regular updates, making it more robust and refining and clarifying information in the policy itself. As part of that effort, we have 6 key proposed changes that we'd like to recommend today. The first being, we'd like to extend a delegation to the CEO to include non-dollar value agreements, such as NDAs, MOUs, and data sharing agreements. However, the board still reserves authority to enter into MOUs with federal, state, or local agencies. The second key update would be allowing community power staff to apply for grant funding. The board still would reserve authority to accept and receive and expend those funds. The third update would be to delegate the CEO's signature authority to any member of the executive team in the absence of the CEO. Except the general counsel, who approves contracts to form and content. Currently, the authority only lies with the CFO and an outdated title that we have for the chief commercial officer. The fourth update is, as mentioned in the previous policy update, the delegated contract authority to Community Powers increase CEO would be increased to $150,000. The fifth key item would be the policy is just being renamed to reflect the broader scope of the policy, which would be the delegated contract and signature authority policy. And finally, the last update would be that we are providing updates to the policy to clarify sections and provide administrative updates to the policy. And with that, Chair Lawson Remer, I'd like to offer you and the board an opportunity to ask any questions or provide any feedback. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Do my colleagues have any questions on this matter?
Through the chair. No question, but comment. Thank you very much for the cleanup. Thank you, council, for making this happen. I think it's sometimes we need to double check all our policies so then we're all up to date. Thank you, CEO, for making that if, with that said, Madam Chair, I move to adopt resolution number 2025-17.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments from any of my colleagues? Questions?
Madam Chair, we have no public comment on this item either.
We've got a motion and a second. Is there any public comment on this item?
There is none, Madam Chair.
Okay. With no public comment, we've got a motion on the floor with a second. Please call the roll.
Director Eloy Rivera, Director Fisher,
Aye.
Director Insunza,
Yes.
Director San Antonio, Director Suzuki,
Aye.
Vice Chair Yamani,
Aye.
and Chair Lassen Weimer.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. So moving on to item number 17, adopt resolution 2518, authorizing the investment of monies in local agency investment fund. Dr. Washington.
Good evening.
talk to us.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and Directors. I'm Dr. Eric Washington, CFO, Treasurer of San Diego Community Power, and I'll be presenting item number 17, seeking board approval to adopt resolution 25-18, authorizing investment of monies in the local agency investment fund. Next slide, please. The LAIF Fund, for short, for Local Agency Investment Fund, was established in 1977. It was authorized under California Government Code 16429, and it was created by the state of California to provide a safe, sound investment options for local agencies to park reserves. And so the LAIF is permissible under Community Power's investment policy. Excuse me. The benefits, as you can see in this slide, it offers, in addition to the benefits that you see on this slide, it allows Community Power to invest funds under deposit. For example, a traditional money market fund that might earn 2.25% would allow us to invest monies in LAIF and earn 200 basis points over that amount. The metrics, since July of 2025, LAIF has served over 2,300 local agencies with over 22 billion in investments. Oversight for the investment fund is provided by the Pooled Money Investment Board. That includes the state treasurer, director of finance, and the state controller. Next slide, please. So the parameters in which we would invest in the local agency investment fund, we're limited to 75 million in total amount that could be held in the fund, with no more than 15 transactions per month. By way of example, a traditional money market account will allow unlimited amounts into a money market account, a deposit vehicle, but it would be limited to 6 transactions per month. We currently have a money market account with that limitation, and we've been able to transfer funds with no problem. We've never actually hit that limit, so that's not a concern with the LAIF account. Next slide, please. So that concludes my presentation on this item, Madam Chair. I'll welcome any questions or comments from the board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any public comment first on item number 17?
We do not, Madam Chair.
Okay. Any questions from any of my colleagues? Fantastic. Please ask your question.
Thanks, Dr. Washington. I think this is really good for the agency to be invested in something like this. Obviously, there's some big returns on it. If this were to pass, what is the agency looking to? I know there's a limitation, but I mean, right away would be investing to the top limit. How much money would we look to be putting into account?
So thank you for the question, Director Fisher. So the objective would be to reach the maximum amount. We wouldn't look to invest the full amount immediately. Just by way of example, we hold now in our money market account about $90 million. So that would be sufficient enough to fund the account. But we also want to make sure that we have funds for operating needs should they arise. Does that answer your question?
It does. That's great. And, you know, I guess I don't do the banking in my house. So what would you need transaction for? I mean, it allows up to 15 per month. I mean, is it something that's constantly monitored or scrutinized? I'm curious why that you'd have to have that limit of transactions per month.
So Community Power wouldn't necessarily need that many transactions per month. As I've mentioned, we have a limitation with our current money market account with 6 transactions, and we've never hit that limit. I'd have to, dig deeper into the state treasurer's office to get more understanding why they place that limit. I would imagine that it has something to do with them having to liquidate the funds to fund those transactions out of the overall investment pool.
Okay, that's it. I mean, I look at that thing, maybe there's an opportunity, to take it out when there's lots of money in there to, fund operating expenses or needs, but it just seems a little bit different than what I would normally consider normal. So thank you.
Thank you.
Alex?
Thank you for the presentation on this and the work on it. I'm curious with one aspect of how the limit works. Put 75 million in, we're going to be earning a pretty good yield on that. Do we have to continuously pull out in order to avoid surpassing that $75 million cap? Or is it the $75 million deposit cap and then it's allowed to grow above that?
Yeah, it's the 75 million deposit cap, and then the earnings on that would just stay in the account unless we chose to pull those funds out.
Do you have a projection on what you anticipate going to be earned from a dollar perspective?
Yes, thank you for that question, Director Elo Rivera.
Sorry if I missed that. I don't think I saw that.
So, the state treasurer's office reports sort of like the average monthly yield on those funds that are under investment. And historically, they've been in excess of 4%. I would say currently they're probably about 4.25%.
Mm-hmm. But in terms of dollars, what does that look like for those of us who are mathematically challenged?
I'd have to grab my calculator.
Okay, that makes me feel better. Okay.
I know it'd be
Okay.
It'd be better than the 2.25% we're currently earning now. And one of the objectives here, and it's in direct alignment with our strategic goal, is to build reserves and make sure we have a fiscally stable operation, that we've got access to funds when we need them, so that we can respond to those things that we don't anticipate, but we've got resources that would allow us to respond fiscally should they arise.
Understood. All that makes sense. It would be helpful to the extent possible, to project to get a sense of how much more quickly we anticipate being able to hit the reserve goals that we've set. And I'm actually curious, is this move kind of baked into the assumptions that we made previously, or are those assumptions going to be updated as a result of assuming a positive vote tonight?
I'm not quite sure what assumption.
He's asking about the assumptions on the interest that we earned and where that shows up. So I'm guessing we'll have to update that.
Yeah.
We didn't have the ability.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because we have a reserve goal, right? And that reserve goal, if I'm remembering things I'm supposed to remember, we're trying to hit that goal so we can improve our credit ratings. There's all the benefits that come along with that, right? So presumably this would help us accelerate the timeline for when we can hit that goal.
Potentially, yes. And so I'd be happy to put together some projections and revisit on the assumptions. But I do know, based on our last treasurer's report, that it's actually on consent now. Mm-hmm. We continue to move closer to that goal. We're projected to hit that goal November 2025, if memory serves me correct. But based on previous analyses, we may hit that ahead of time, possibly before the end of the year. But I'd be happy to make those calculations and get back to them.
Appreciate that. Thank you. You need a motion or a second?
We do not yet have a motion.
I'll move approval.
Okay. In a second.
I just wanted to add to that, to piggyback on the question, Council Member or Director Elo Rivera. The last report, our reserve is under 35%. So whatever we yield here will put towards that. So then we're gonna reach our goal of our reserve allocation. Thank you. And I mean, of course, with LAIF right now, it's very stable as per the report that we received from the state. But we don't know unless once we sign up, we wanted to address the interest rate and those numbers that we're gonna get later on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We have a motion and we have a second. Please call the roll.
Director Euler Rivera, Director Fisher,
Aye.
Director Insunza,
Yes.
Director San Antonio, Director Suzuki,
Aye.
Vice Chair Yamani,
Aye.
Chair Lassen Lima.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. So now we go into item 18, Solar Advantage Disadvantaged Communities Green Tariff Program. There's two pieces to this item. I'll say a few words and I'm going to call up Gordon Samuel, Chief Commercial Officer, to present the background. I think overall this is a good news item. It's great, the work we've been doing to move forward the Disadvantaged Communities Green Tariff Program. But I think there's been some challenges in ensuring that these programs accrue real benefits to our community and are meaningful in ensuring that we're protecting the workers that are working so hard to make sure that our communities have the power that they need. So this is a two-part item, and we'll kind of get into the details in a moment, but I want to first call up Gordon to give a little bit of background to remind the team, the board about really what is the Disadvantaged Communities Green Tariff Program overall, and then we can go forward from there. I think it'd be helpful to, before you jump into your PowerPoint on the specific power purchase agreement portfolio with First Oak, I want to make sure we're all on the same page of what the Disadvantaged Communities Green Tariff Program is, and that this is the first pilot as part of this larger program.
Good evening, directors. Thank you for that lead, and we're 100% with you. We think this is a great program and benefits a lot of disadvantaged homes. So first, I just want to say, again, I'm Gordon Samuel, Community Power's Chief Commercial Officer. I'm here with Tessa Tovar, our Solar Advantage Program Manager, and Jack Clark, our Chief Operating Officer. Chair, I do have a slide coming up to give a background in about 2 slides. So I'll start off with that. Yes, we are here to seek approval for 3 power purchase agreements with First Oak Power. They are a subsidiary of First Light. And sorry, this too quick there. Okay. This program, these 3 projects will bring 100% renewable energy to 1,200 of the most vulnerable households in our service territory, while creating the additional benefit of 20% bill savings. That's on top of their already savings that they have, which would bring it to 50%. These households are in disadvantaged communities in our region, including Barrio Logan, Logan Heights, South Crest, Mount Hope, and Choyas View. So a little bit of background on the Disadvantaged Communities Green Tariff Program, referred to as DAC-GT. It was a CPUC program that was initially offered to San Diego Gas and Electric customers. After years of SDG&E making very little progress on this program, we saw an opportunity to step in. It lives up to our mission of providing clean, sustainable energy, and affordable power in an equitable manner. It was an ideal match for us. So we received approval in 2023. We rebranded it as the Solar Advantage Program. With this came a total need of 20 megawatts, just over 20 megawatts, that would serve approximately 9,000 homes of disadvantaged communities. with 100% renewable energy. And this is 100% renewable energy that can be placed where they would receive the bill savings, but not have to put the rooftop solar on their own property. Okay, we opened a little bit about the first light project summaries. We opened the offers in August of 2023. Earlier this year, in January, the board approved the first project that came through this RFO. The entity was called Luminia. This is the second one out of that same RFO with First Light. So we brought these to our energy working group, contract energy working group in August of 24, as well as the community advisory committee. And that's where we selected the First Light program and the Luminia project. So here's a little bit about the projects themselves. We have 3 project locations. They are, the first one is in Chula Vista. We have another one in El Cajon, and another one in San Diego. So these are all rooftop systems, actually on storage, extra space storage facilities, amounting to a total of all 3 of 2.9 megawatts. So who's First Light? They are a nationwide company, but they're here in San Diego. All of these are going to be on these public storage rooftop facilities. They've completed about 1,000 of these types across 15 states. They expect to have commitments for an additional 300 projects throughout the country by the end of this year. And key facts, details about the project. We will receive the renewable energy credits associated with this. So that will go into our RPS and ultimately make its way through to our power content label. You know, it's not a lot, but it's something. These will all be for 20 years. So these bill discounts last for a 20-year period. The projects we anticipate to come online in the first half of 2027. And the project has also a 100% local union requirement for all contracted and subcontracted construction work, with a minimum of 50% local labor requirement for all labor. These requirements are similar to what the board approved in the Luminia project back in January. Okay, plan for the next steps with this Solar Advantage program. While we're talking about First Light today, we also want to give a brief overview of where we're going with this program to fulfill the 20 megawatt need. So we have a solicitation that's currently active that will be closing here in it's closing in October, the current date, October 6th. In 2026, we'll have another RFO, or which would be RFO number 3, that would be taking place in the first half of 2026. Either out of the one that's currently active, if we get up to the 20 megawatts, then you wouldn't need the next RFO. That wasn't our experience with RFO number 1. So hopefully over these next 2, we can fulfill the total need of the 20 megawatts. Before I conclude the presentation, I want to reemphasize that the impacts of the Solar Advantage program are tremendous. It helps those disadvantaged communities that need it most with that additional 20% bill savings, bringing it up to about a 50% bill savings. Also want to thank all the CC Power staff that's been working on this for the past 2 years. But it's in line with what our mission is. So we think it's well worth the effort to bring this forward. So with that, we can take any public comment.
Actually, we're taking, it's one item, so we're doing it together. So we will take, this is how this is going to proceed. If any of my colleagues have questions on First Light, we can go ahead and do that. Then you'll go ahead and do the presentation on the second piece. We'll take questions on that. And then we'll have a little bit of a board discussion, and then we'll have time for public comments. Okay. So any questions from my colleagues?
Through the chair. Thank you. For this one, I ask why are there only 3 locations and how is our outreach for this one? And because as a city of National City, disadvantaged, I know all of us, all our ratepayers are disadvantaged, but looking at the locations, it's all, you know, in that area. And, you know, Director Gordon here said that, you know, they will try, the next one will be more robust. And I don't know how the outreach was then for this first project, but since it's here already and it's ready to go, let's make it happen.
Do you want me to comment on the National City? So there's disadvantaged communities, and then this is specific to the top 10% in need in those disadvantaged communities. So it has to fall into that category. Customers need to fulfill that requirement. Specific to National City, Tessa may have some information on that, so that she did some homework.
Thank you for your question. There's not a relationship between where DAC GT projects are located with the actual customers. And the reason for that is that we will auto-enroll customers with priority given to customers that are located in the top 10% of disadvantaged communities. Gordon mentioned the following neighborhoods, which are Central Chula Vista, Barrio Logan, Logan Heights, South Crest, Mount Hope, and Trellis View. And they will be customers that are already enrolled in CARE and FARA until the customer subscription reaches our program cap. Whereas projects must be located in a census tract identified by Cal Envirus Screen 4.0 as scoring among the top 25% statewide or in the highest 5% of pollution burden areas where National City does not have customers in the top 10% of disadvantaged communities for the California Public Utilities Commission.
That's amazing. Super.
Yeah. Well, we learn something new every day, right? Thank you so much. Yes, question.
Thank you. I need all the help I can get. The fundamental reason why we have this program and why the Public Utilities Commission designed this program and is investing in this program is because this is a very difficult market segment for anyone to really execute on, first and foremost. So we've done a fair amount of outreach with industry networking groups, and other stakeholders in the community. We've run, now we currently have our second RFO open. We're anticipating the need for a third RFO because we're only getting a few projects each and every time. I think that's also part of the reason why some of the IOUs across the state have shifted their capacity over to CCAs, because this type of work is a labor of love. And so every time we go out to a solicitation, we engage on outreach and networking. We're learning a little bit more, we go a little bit deeper. And so we'll continue to do that moving forward for RFO number 3 as well.
Wow. Thank you. Appreciate that. Other questions, either about the kind of beginning of the presentation about the DAC GT in general, or about First Light specifically? Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Actually, less of a question. I just wanted to say thank you for the work on this. The communities listed here, I represent the community of Mount Hope. I formerly represented the community of South Crest. South Crest was one of the areas most impacted by the floods in the beginning of 2024. So there's the kind of the numeric disadvantaged community metrics, and then there's like the real life effects of those floods that people are still putting their lives back together from. And so, knowing that folks who were devastated by a natural disaster, a community that was really, really terribly impacted, and it will take years to get back to where they were, if they're ever able to be totally frank. I'm just really glad to see Southcrest listed there. And then again, as for the council member that represents Mount Hope, I know that this will make a big difference for those folks. So thank you for your work on this. I appreciate that that Community Power is willing to put forward that labor of love, because it definitely will make a big difference in people's lives. Thank you.
Okay, so seeing no other comment or question, go ahead.
Just one question. So again, pardon my not knowing some of this. So is this a program that people are auto-enrolled in, or because I hear community outreach? I mean, obviously there's tons of communities in need. I don't think this is, something that's overlooked, and obviously you can't help everybody. So in the act of the community outreach, if it's already in auto enrollment, I'm not sure I understand how this process works.
I think there's, thanks for the question, Director Fisher. I think there's two aspects of outreach. There's one where the project's going to be located, which helps municipalities because it brings in additional property tax. That does not have to coincide or be adjacent to those that are receiving the benefit. So there's that outreach to try to find host sites for these renewable projects. And then the auto enrollment is more of a, do they qualify or not? And that's sort of pre-described. So I think the outreach, the way I understood the prior question, was like, what other communities can these projects be cited in?
That makes it a lot more understandable to me. So when you have this auto enrollment, how does that work? You go out and look at their tax documents. I'm just curious because again, I'm just curious.
I'm happy to take your question. So we will utilize auto enrollment for the Solar Advantage program. I mentioned it earlier, but priority will be given to those customers in the top 10% of disadvantaged communities. After that, priority will be given to customers who have made payments to their accounts as defined by at least 4 full or partial payments in the last 8 months. That would be category 1. If program capacity remains unsubscribed after enrolling these customers, we will enroll additional customers in the following order. Category 1, which I just described. Category 2, which are customers who have had at least 3 full or partial payments. 3 is at least 2 full or partial payments in the past 8 months. If there is not enough program capacity to enroll all customers in a given category, under the DAC-GT program, customers from the respective category will be randomly selected for program enrollment, and all remaining customers will be placed on a wait list. Community Power will monitor program attrition on a monthly basis and will enroll additional customers from the wait list as program capacity becomes available. These residential customers will be selected based on their enrollment in 2 of the state discount programs, CARE or FARA.
So the ratepayers, you look at their payment history and decide from what the payments they've been able to make in the past. I'm still a little bit confused.
That's okay. I appreciate your question. The priority will be given to customers that are already enrolled in CARE and FARA. So that's a state system where they establish whether they are of what's the word I'm looking for? Income qualification to be in those programs. So they already do that check for us. And then it's going to be location based, which is those top 10% in disadvantaged communities in the neighborhoods that I had mentioned.
Just to build on that a little bit further, in terms of auto enrollment for this type of program, we're leveraging the income qualification process already done by CARE and FARA programs. It's very typical for load serving entities, other IOUs, to piggyback on that income qualification because it expedites their enrollment and it's already been verified. In addition to the outreach that I mentioned, the outreach that we're doing on this is really on the developer side, making sure that developers are aware that we have this solicitation open. Think of this as farmers planting seeds. We've got to go out there and really plant those seeds, shake those trees, and get the attention of developers, because otherwise this is not a market that they typically build or are interested in.
Any other questions?
Chairman, just one more if I can.
Yeah, please.
Are there things that we should know about in terms of what sort of specifications you all are looking for as a potential site? There's folks who are very familiar with their communities up here, and I'm sure would be more than interested in increasing property tax value within their communities.
Well, Director, I think, well, one, you need enough surface area to accommodate. As you can tell from this, those are ideal type of situation for this. So really, I think it's, as Jack alluded to, it's getting the developers aware of it. And so we're trying to market that. And hopefully, they're best positioned to go out and find where to put them. So I don't think it's one size fits all. Here we just did 3 different project sizes of a 0.5 megawatt all the way up to this 1.6 megawatt, so completely different size. But
I think I just want to uplift, building on Director Ela Rivera's comment, that this is a really good group of folks to solicit to developers to engage on this. So perhaps at our next meeting, you could give a little bit of a presentation on exactly what we're looking for and how to maybe talk to developers, and then all of us can take responsibility for going out and trying to find some developers in our respective jurisdictions. Is that something that people would be interested in? Okay, would that be possible? We can do that. Okay, thank you. Okay. Seeing no other questions or comments on part A, I want to move on to part B, a presentation on part B, and then we'll have time for board discussion and comments.
So through this process here, working through the first language, it afforded us the opportunity to reassess the current workforce language that we have in the DAC GT RFO, the one that's active right now, and to also be used for the future ones. So at the request of the chair, we brought that language forward, made it a little more pronounced, then also received feedback on how to modify that language. And that's what we're bringing forward today to see if the board's in agreement with that, and we would incorporate that into this current solicitation. We also think if we do change some of this, we would look to extend the current RFO. We think an additional 2 weeks is more than reasonable for this particular change. One too many. So what you see on the screen now is our language that we originally had in with red line to show the changes that were recommended to us, and that's what we are putting out there for the board to consider.
Thank you. Let me make a couple of comments because this was brought forward at my request, and then if anyone has any questions before we go to public comment. I think big picture, I think we're all it's very clear that DAC GT is just an extraordinary program, a wonderful program for our communities, and it helps the folks that most need it. And I think it's just a great opportunity. We want to seize that. But I also am concerned that there's not enough attention to local hire and making sure that we're also generating good jobs for people who live here instead of people who are coming in from far away, and maybe pushing out some of our local folks who are in need of work. And we also know that it's really important for having skilled and certified workers to open the door for disadvantaged communities in the energy sector. So that's why I wanted to bring a motion today to move forward with the pilot program, with the First Light project as a pilot, and get the DAC GT moving, but also ensure that moving forward, as we scale up this program, that we have robust workforce criteria to ensure that we're really investing back in our communities. So that's why I wanted to bring this motion to strengthen our commitment to building the workforce that we need and move forward with the great project that you've identified as a pilot, so we can continue building out this capacity in our region. So I guess I can just stop there, but that was what I was my intent here was to create a framework so we could move in an expedited fashion with a stronger workforce criteria in all the RFOs moving forward while we approve the First Light project today. So I guess I can make a motion just to start, but we will have to have public comment before we take a vote. So my motion would be to adopt staff recommendation 1 for 18A, and then to adopt to add the following red light changes to existing open RFO and the same criteria for future RFOs for the DAC GT program. Councilmember Rivera.
Thank you, Chair. I'll start by seconding the motion. I appreciate what you said. So I actually just came from the San Diego Workforce Partnership board meeting, and I chaired the policy board there. And I promise there's a point to the story time here. We heard from a gentleman who is 49 years old and spent the better part of his adult years in prison. And he just actually got out of prison in January of 2025. And he shared with us that while he was serving his last term, he really wanted to do better and get his life on track. And he heard from another inmate about unions and working in the trades and getting involved with an apprenticeship program. And when he was released, he participated in that program, and he worked on the airport. I just heard this story. Right? I mean, this has been transformative in his life. Obviously the job and the income, but the belief that there's a positive future in his cards is there, and that's because of the apprenticeship program. So this is extremely valuable. I just saw the like literal human impact of these apprenticeship programs at that Workforce Partnership Board meeting, and so I very much appreciate that San Diego Community Power has a mission. We have to stay true to that mission, and I think that this is consistent with that. So I appreciate the motion. The one thing, Chair, if you're open to it, and your motion might incorporate it, but I know I shared this with staff a little bit in the run up to the meeting. I think that there'd be some value in updating the sustainable workforce policy that was last revised in 2021, and so I think through some partnership with IBW 569 and local apprenticeship programs, we could strengthen the policy language so we're not responding on a project by project basis, and really ensuring that we're building this intentionally, so that as many people as possible benefit from everything that we do on the workforce side and then on the customer side as well.
I completely agree. I'm a little reluctant to take it as a amendment to this motion, but I would love to co-author a item in the next couple weeks or months to bring back. I think it would be great. I just don't want to. That's a important thing, and I want to have like room for thoughtful consideration and not just put it on as an addendum. But
absolutely,
if maybe we can work on it and we can bring it back, and everyone will be expecting us to bring it back.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, please.
So again, based on what's in front of us, this really does favor union work. Am I correct in that? I think that there's some value in having union work because they do for qualified people, but I also think there's a whole lot of other quite qualified people that may not work under the bridge of the union. And I think that we look at, how we're doing business. And again, I don't have anything against the union. I find that they often strong arm government agencies to bend a little bit into that. And again, there's no doubt in my mind they're qualified. They do good. Their programs, that they have for building people and growing them in jobs is good. I just find that it just seems to always cost a little bit more when they do it. And there's some equity out there for people who are qualified. So no answer needed. I just wanted to make that comment.
Other comments?
Well, sure, I'll comment. I appreciate the motion, and I probably have the opposite experience working with labor unions, that they're more qualified, they're better experienced, they have better health conditions and better benefits for their families and their workers. And that's the strength of my city. That's the strength of the South County region. So I will enthusiastically support the chair's position. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yep.
I just want to, I'm excited about this part about the local apprentices, because I think we really need to build up a skilled workforce, and that's the way to do it. And it encourages people to, join these programs, and they know that they're going to get work, and they're going to be trained, and they're going to be trained on real projects. So that's an amazing opportunity for them. So I'm really glad that San Diego Community Power is taking part of this.
Thank you so much. Any other comments before we go to public comment? Okay, public comment.
Yes, Madam Chair. Christina Marquez.
Hi, good evening. Christina Marquez with IBEW Local 569, representing over 3,700 power professionals and union electricians. I didn't write any comments tonight because this one's coming from my heart. And I'm speaking specifically to 18B regarding the community solar, or DAC GT. So I went through the apprenticeship. It gave me the opportunity, even though I already had a bachelor's degree, to really learn with my hands, receive full family health care benefits, a pension from day one, and the training that is considered the gold standard. And I think here in San Diego, and especially with San Diego Community Power, we're setting the bar, and people are looking at what you all are deciding. And I think that you guys really stepped it up a notch in doing this, and making sure that we can not only help the community in their homes and their bills, but also the community that would be locally employed to be able to live and work in San Diego, because they are paid a decent livable wage. And that's what we're all trying to do here. We're just trying to survive. And when you spoke of having somebody who just came out of prison and was able to get this opportunity, we partner with that program. It's called Homework. And I've been a part of it from day one with Fire. I don't know if he's Fire Captain, but Jason Shanley, he's the one who started it. And it gives those folks an opportunity when nobody will hire them because they were in prison. And we've been able to give them that opportunity, the same opportunity of someone like myself who graduated from college. They have the same opportunity, and nobody will look at them any different. And they have the same pay, the same training, the same benefits as everyone else. So you guys are really doing good. You're really doing right. And I really appreciate you guys doing this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
No more public comments, Madam Chair.
No more public comments. Okay. We have a motion on the floor by myself, a second by Director Elo Rivera. Any other comments from my colleagues before we call the roll? Okay, please vote.
Director Elo Rivera. Director Fisher.
Aye.
Director Insunza.
Yes.
Director San Antonio. Director Suzuki.
Aye.
Vice Chair Yamani.
Aye.
Chair Lassen Reimer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. So now we'll move on to item number 19. First, let's organize. this is the Solar Battery Savings Residential Program relaunch. That's right. Colin, Senior Director of Programs, will present. Please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colin Santulli, Senior Director of Programs. In that role, I oversee our customer energy program team and department at Community Power. So I'm going to give a quick recap of what we did in 2024 with the solar battery savings pilot, and then I will spend some time talking about the relaunch of this program that I'm here to tell you about. I do have to say I'm lucky one who is presenting today, but there's a big team behind this. Emily Fisher, who you've met before, she presented on the pilot last summer. She's out on maternity leave. She'll be back in October, taking the reins in the program again. And we have a big team as well. I have to give some kudos to Timothy Treadwell, Marlena Maurer, and Cody Harris, and the team working on this day in and day out, as well as a lot of support from the public affairs team. I mentioned the pilot. I'll spend a minute start with the pilot and providing an overview. This was brought to you in September, so you've heard this before. But just as a recap, we started this pilot project after you all and your predecessors helped transition from the NEM, Net Energy Metering policy framework, to a net billing tariff policy framework. This is how it changes the way we compensate rooftop solar and other on-site generation. The really significant change in the state, really, but also in our territory for this local solar industry. And the program that we committed to bring forward, the pilot that we executed last summer, was our part to support that local industry here and doing our part to help them go from being solar installers to being solar and storage installers. So we launched our pilot in June of last year, and we were out of funds by November of last year, as we deemed it quite a success. The pilot program very simply provides an upfront incentive to customers, and what we're trying to do is take that solar that's generated in the middle of the day that they generate from their system and give them the ability to use it in the evening during those peak hours when it costs them a lot of money, it costs us a lot of money as a load serving entity. So we provide a performance incentive for the discharge of that battery that they provide to us. Like I mentioned, the pilot launched last summer. We supported 2,200 batteries in 1,600 homes across our territory at an average upfront incentive rate of roughly $7,000. The incentive dollars we were very happy to have roughly 40% of those incentive dollars going into communities of concern and to customers who are on the care and fair rates. That was a goal of ours from the start of the program, and we're happy to have met it. It continues to be a goal in the relaunch of the program. Another goal of our pilot was to reach and support industry, and we did that. We had 50 contractors who were approved in the program. Almost 40% of those identified as diverse business enterprises, and just over 40% were what we consider small businesses, less than 10 staff. We had a couple of the big name solar installers in the program, but we also reached what we felt were a lot of mom and pop shops, which is a big part of our program. We were proud of our program. We also got a fair amount of recognition. The Department of Energy featured it in a national report as a model. We're going to be presenting on it at a national conference, and we will be in November, specifically alongside other CCAs, talking about how we can use the success of the pilot and how other CCAs can build off of the lessons learned and the program design. So moving into our program that we're hoping to relaunch, or we expect to relaunch rather, next week on September 30th. I'll cover the goals here briefly, and I'm really going to focus on the differences between the pilot. Many of the goals of the program are the same as the pilot. One key difference here is an emphasis on new systems. With the program, we are really looking to grow the pie of solar, residential solar systems in the region. We want more of our customers to be able to get the benefits of solar through this program. We still have our goals for investing in communities that have been underserved by the solar and storage industry, specifically communities of concern and care for our customers. And of course, we maintain that goal of reducing the peak demand. That's a really important part of the program. That 50% of the battery that customers commit to provide to us provides very valuable, a lot of value to us, not only on a daily basis, but it provides long-term value to us as it offsets future resource adequacy costs to the agency. As you all know, in June of this year, in our fiscal year budget, $18 million was approved for solar battery savings. Additionally, in our capital investment plan, we included a multi-year funding structure for SBS. And part of the reason we were aiming for that multi-year structure, we're trying to not propose a program that starts and stops. So we're looking to have a multi-year structure with set step downs where we can review and revise the program and reduce the incentive over time, make any changes to program guidelines as needed. This step down multi-year program design is common in other programs such as SCHIP and California Solar Initiative. It provides that transparency to industry. They can plan for when incentives are going to come down. It also, like I said, gives us the flexibility for reducing incentive if we need to. We're not required to, but we maintain that flexibility. Spending a few minutes on the incentive levels. As I mentioned, kind of aligning with the goals here, we've added an additional incentive category specifically for new systems. And this is an effort to grow the pie. So we have relatively higher incentive for new solar systems, solar and storage systems as compared to existing systems. So if you have a solar system on your home, you're still able to participate in the program by adding a battery and enrolling that battery in the program, but we provide a higher incentive to new solar and storage systems. We also provide a relatively higher incentive to non-market rate participants. And again, those are those who live in communities of concern and those who are on the care and fair rates. There's been no change to the performance incentive from the pilot. It's still 10 cents per kWh. That amount comes directly from our power services team. So we kind of reserve the right to change that when we hit those milestones in the future. But that's specifically really that value of that power that the customers are providing back to us. And so has the compensation for that. Program operations, I'll just say maybe the takeaway from this slide is that we moved in from the pilot to the program. We're looking to simplify as much as we can. In the pilot, we gave folks a lot of flexibility as they're participating. They could choose a wide variety of percentages to enroll, they could choose weekdays or weekends to participate. As we look to scale the program and kind of meet the goals that we have, we want to look to have as simple as a program as possible. So we're only 50% is eligible to be enrolled in the program. Only weekdays. Those are the days we said the most congestion in our grid during those peak hours during the week. We currently have a 2-hour dispatch. We're going to shift that to a 4, so it covers more of that peak period. We're also building in flexibility to be able to adjust that 4-hour dispatch in future years. And then lastly, I'll say that a big change for us is that we are requiring that all the equipment be enrolled in our distributed energy resource management system. That's our DERMS platform. In March of this year, this board adopted our strategic goals, and one of the goals for the customer program department was to create a 150 megawatt virtual power plant. This DERMS is basically the brain of that virtual power plant. So it's not just batteries that get enrolled, but it's a smart thermostat, and heat pump water heaters, and the other devices that we're helping our customers manage so they can keep their bill impacts low when they start to electrify their load. So we require that DERMS integration for the batteries that are part of the program. And think about next steps. I mentioned we're launching the program on September 30th, next Tuesday. We've been enrolling contractors for the last 2 weeks. We held 4 trainings over the last several weeks, a virtual training for those who weren't able to make it, but also we were able to, through partnerships with IDW 569 and Green Tech Renewables, which is a local distributor here in the region, we were able to have hosted workshops with some kind of trusted voices and partnerships from industry. Today is the last day for contractor enrollment. We will have a quarterly enrollment process for those who weren't enrolled now. They can come back to us in a quarter to get added to the program. Like I mentioned, we're looking to launch on the 30th, and then we will have a public launch with a press event on October 1st. Another big kind of difference from the pilot is really how we're marketing and engaging with customers about the program. The pilot was largely driven by contractors by design. And now that we know that the pilot works and we really want to see an expansion of the program, we're going to put a lot more resources and energy into marketing materials, but specifically customer workshops. And these are public sessions that we're planning for Q4. These will be workshops where we work with customers, not just about the ins and outs of the program, but also try to provide some kind of basic 101 information on the value of adding a solar and storage system, and if it makes sense to add solar and storage to your home. Still a lot of planning to do on these, but we're targeting communities that were not as represented in the pilot as we would like them to be. Imperial Beach and National City are two at the top of the list, but there's other communities that we're hoping to reach as well with the customer workshops. We're looking at partnerships with community-based organizations to make those effective, and then also always talking with industry. Again, IBW 569 and Green Tech has been a really good partner of ours as well. That concludes my presentation. And for any questions.
Just want to say that this is really exciting and really fantastic, and appreciate the work of the team. I know when we got into this as a pilot, we weren't totally sure this was going to work and how to make it work and how to make it pencil for everyone. And it's just, I think it's been remarkably successful. So thank you, Karen. Thank you to the team. Great job. And I'm just really excited to see this moving forward. It's, I think, exactly why we are all so committed to San Diego Community Power. Really the alignment between renewable energy and a green economy and providing affordable energy for our customers who are facing challenges every day with paying the bills and making ends meet. And when we can have a program that knocks both out of the park, it's a real win. So thank you. We can go to public comment, and then if any of my colleagues have any comments.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have Serena Pelka online. I'm going to allow her to speak.
Okay.
Amy, we're not able to allow her to speak. Can you do it for us, please?
Hi, can you hear me?
Go ahead, Serena. You have 3 minutes to address the board.
Thank you so much. Good evening. This is Serena Pelka from Climate Action Campaign. We're calling in to echo the comments just made by the chair. We want to express our support for the solar battery savings program. So firstly, just want to thank SDCP staff for all the meaningful work you've done, both to create the pilot and now launch the program, including all the revisions to the program based on those learnings. So as was shared, there's a ton of important benefits of the program, including lower upfront costs for communities to access battery storage, which is essential technology for building energy resilience in communities that need it most. Reducing part of the financial barriers and increasing residential clean energy also gets us closer to the strong local grid that we absolutely need. And with the high cost of living, the ongoing savings and incentives are also an essential part of the program that we are really, really excited to see reach communities. So as the program does roll out, we encourage SDCP to continue to assess how to best ensure the benefits are reaching communities of concern first, and also covering as much of the upfront costs as possible to make the program truly equitable and build just access to this critical technology. So we look forward to SDCP and member agencies working together to align any existing and upcoming programs and funding sources to cover as much of the cost as possible for residents. As you all know, we need local clean energy solutions as we work towards an affordable, pollution-free future. And so we're really deeply grateful to see Community Power prioritizing that with this program. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Do any of my colleagues have any comments, questions? Please.
Sorry, no surprise, I have a comment. It's really interesting to see this program, how different it is from the one we just discussed. Having people install solar into their own home, but I think that's great because it continues the mission of San Diego Community Power to help those who, need help. And glad to hear that Imperial Beach might be on that list and qualify for that. Through the life of this program, how many customers are we expected to help? Any households? Anything? Projections?
Yes, happy to take a question. This year, we expect 4,000 more homes to participate. And in subsequent years, it could be over 10,000 homes, depending on annual budget allocations. But that's what the projection is.
That's fantastic to hear. Because again, I think there's a lot of people who may not be, in some of the disadvantaged areas that we spoke about previously, but still who are struggling and have opportunities to install this type of equipment. I spoke to a gentleman who just did that, put solar, then put batteries into his home, and he just couldn't sing the praises of how great it was to be kind of off the grid, but still live in a community where it worked for him. So I'm grateful that San Diego Community Power can use, both sides of the brain and some of the things we talked about previously and what we're talking about now and how it all has the same mission. So I will definitely support this. Thank you.
Other comments? I'm happy to make a motion. Oh, to receive and file. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm so excited to support it.
Yes. Through the chair, can I make a comment? 'Cause
Please.
at the meeting of the regional plan update, Director Shani Ilo Rivera had mentioned for the SANDAG staff to work with the regional climate roadmap, and I spoken with them, and they thank Mr. Santulli, who is the one working with them. And so I'm glad, CEO, that we have a representation in that level. So then we are also informed of the regional plan update that they're working on right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the end of our agenda. I appreciate everyone's participation. Oh, we have a day of presentation. Okay, thank you. See, sorry, Karen, I was trying to skip you, Karen. I was trying to skip you.
It's been a long night. It's okay. Great. Okay. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, board members. Before I start, I just really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to our solar battery savings team and our First Light team. These have been truly tremendous, highly collaborative efforts, and I am just so grateful to be able to work alongside all of you who are so talented and dedicated and committed to our mission. So thank you. All right, next slide, please. All right, as a foundational partner to the Energy Academy, an educational program that helps local community leaders enhance their energy knowledge, developed by the University of San Diego's Energy Policy Initiative Center and the San Diego Regional Climate Collaborative, we had the opportunity to host the program's third cohort at our offices last week. I was able to welcome the cohort to the Energy Academy and provide an overview of Community Power's role in our local energy landscape. Director of Power Contracts, Kenny Key, also presented about energy procurement, and Senior Strategic Partnerships Manager Lee Friedman led the cohort in an interactive game that demonstrated the supply and demand challenges that energy utilities face in California. I was also recently featured on a Renewable Rides podcast about the trends, challenges, and opportunities arising as we transition to clean energy. Co-hosts Gareth Evans and Dan Roberts and I discussed how technologies ranging from residential solar and storage to virtual power plants and even artificial intelligence can contribute to clean energy future for the San Diego region and beyond. And we also recently celebrated our community clean energy grants recipients at a press event in City Heights. Thank you to Councilmember Ila Rivera for joining us at the event to congratulate our 14 grantees. Next slide, please. As always, our community engagement team has been out and about in our local communities. Earlier this month, we celebrated Mexican Independence Day at El Grito in Chula Vista. And last weekend, we were at the Adams Avenue Street Fair. We sponsored the event's Cool Zone, where attendees could relax in the shade, enjoying cooling misters. Okay. And that same day, our team also joined I Love a Clean San Diego for a cleanup in Ocean Beach in honor of California's annual Coastal Cleanup Day. Next slide. Okay, looking ahead, as you heard earlier, we'll be relaunching our solar battery savings program next week on September 30th. And then the following day, we'll be holding a press conference at the County Administration Center announcing the program's relaunch. Special thank you to our chair, Supervisor Lawson Reamer, who will be joining us and providing a few words about the impact of the program. That same week, I will be connecting with fellow CCA CEOs at the Cal CCA Board Retreat in Santa Cruz. And then next week on October 10th, Community Power and our partner San Diego FC will be joining Trees San Diego for their Plant-a-thon in National City. We have over 35 Our employees are coming. We're very excited. If you'd like to help us plant 100 climate resilient trees in our local community, we encourage you to join us. Last slide, please. All right, I'd like to provide an update on our hiring efforts. We are currently conducting interviews for 3 positions: an associate director of finance, a senior IT systems engineer, and a program associate who will support our flex load. We are in the final stages of hiring a new facilities lead. And on October 7th, we will be welcoming Anna Laprise, senior origination associate, to our services team. Thank you. That concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you. And that brings us to the end of our agenda. Thank you for everyone for being here today. Meeting is now adjourned. The next regular meeting will be on October 23rd, 2025 at 5 o'clock.